I keep saying it, it's practice, 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 but also failure is really okay as long as you don't quit. The best things that I've learned were from the worst mistakes that I've made. As an example, this might have been very early in this year or very late last year. I think maybe it was December of 2019. I was working with a new client and I didn't have them sign a contract, and they ended up pulling out and kind of ghosting me, and I lost a lot of money. Hi everybody, my name is Jess. I'm a graphic designer and illustrator. One of my specialties is typography. I'm self-taught, which is fun and scary, and I'm currently working from home. Before COVID hit, I was working at co-working spaces, coffee shops, so it's not too different from, you know, random desks here and there. I have always been creative, as long as I can remember. Probably as young as being a toddler, like 2 years old, I was always very interested in coloring with crayons, markers, all of that. So my creative journey started kind of when I was born. My professional creative journey started probably in my early 20s. I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But while I had a bunch of different jobs in a bunch of different industries, I would always spend all of my free time being creative. Eventually, I was just like, I can't do anything else. This is what I have to do. So this is what I do now. And I do this freelancing, but full-time. I'm self-taught, meaning I took to the internet and just playing around with Adobe programs and Procreate to kind of figure out how everything works. I think it's great to learn on your own. It's also really hard. There's like a certain grit to it that you need, because there's nobody telling you what's right or wrong. It's a lot of mistakes along the way. So yeah, that's kind of how I know what I know, and I'm still learning every day. I do a lot of cold emails. Sometimes they come back fruitful, sometimes not. So you know, if that's something that you want to do, you need to be prepared and okay with rejection or with somebody just not getting back to you. I'm at the point now where people are finding me, which is great. But I still, you know, if there's a brand or a company that I really want to work with, I'll reach out. Hopefully it works out. I also work with different recruitment agencies to help place me with clients that are looking for my specific set of skills. I usually introduce myself, tell them what I do, compliment them on their brand and company and why I specifically want to work with them, and then link them to my portfolio, my resume. I don't really. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Pinterest, and I'm on Dribbble and Behance. And I scroll through those regularly. I want to stay on trend and I want to be doing what people are looking for, because then I'll get hired for jobs. But I also don't want to be copying people. So there is a very, very fine line. And I think that's probably the reason why I don't follow specifically trend blogs, because I don't want to be so immersed and so influenced by others' work. So if I'm just scrolling through and I'm like, oh, I like the little corner of this one, and I like the color palette on that one, and I kind of take items and things that I like from 5 to 10 different pieces of work and I mesh it together to create my own, I think that works out a little bit better for me than following blogs that say, hey, this is what you should do and here are the 5 steps to do it. I don't want my work to look like everybody else's. So my fear is that if I follow very specific trends and everybody else is following the very specific trends, our work is all going to look the same. And the goal is for our work to all look different, you know? So that's just my feel on it. My style is fun, colorful, cheeky, a little bit bubbly. Over the years, it's probably been a little bit more rough and dark until I really like found my style and was like honing in on it. It took me a really long time to figure out what I actually wanted to do as a young creative, and I mean young in age, but also young in my creative career. I didn't really know what I was doing, and sometimes I still don't. Trying to emulate other people's work in the beginning, and to be extremely clear, I don't mean to sell, strictly for practice, has been helpful. So yeah, in the past, my work was kind of all over the place. I think now people can look at, a couple of my pieces and know, oh, Jess Goldsmith did that. That's chick of all trade. Whereas in the past, it was like, oh, these pieces are all really cool, but I don't know if they were done by one creative, by one artist, or by several. Really helpful. In the last year, I've gotten a handful of really amazing clients through my Instagram. For the longest time, I was very, very focused on getting followers. I just wanted followers. But in the business sense, followers don't matter if they don't turn into customers, if they don't turn into clients, because the whole point is to be able to sell my work and sell my services. So now I use my Instagram kind of as a secondary portfolio that either I can send people to or just another place for people to find me. I'm very particular about what I put up there and what I want to show to the world. And I think it's a great networking tool to find clients and for clients to find you. I keep saying it, it's practice, 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 but also failure is really okay as long as you don't quit. The best things that I've learned were from the worst mistakes that I've made. As an example, this might have been very early in this year or very late last year. I think maybe it was December of 2019. I was working with a new client and I didn't have them sign a contract, and they ended up pulling out and kind of ghosting me, and I lost a lot of money and a lot of time on that. And it was devastating. It really was. I spent months working on a project that I never got paid for. The good news is I will never do that again. So that's my piece of advice. Like, be okay with failure. I would like to continue doing what I do, but working with larger brands. In the last year, I started working with some household names, which is really exciting, but I just want to keep doing that. Recently, I've been talking with a couple of creative friends of mine, considering the idea of a collective/agency type of thing going on. It's really just in talks right now. We don't have any concrete plans, but I'm excited to see where that idea goes.